There are currently 5 cities facing troubles. That includes us.
But unfortunately, without a penalty, there's no way they can assure anyone that it's making a difference. Today is Veterans Day, and the city of Amarillo is once again having its annual Veterans Day parade. Authorities say he lost control of his pickup. Now, if you would have asked the Fair Board if they had the chance of topping last year's numbers again this year, they would have said not a chance. A smash and grab only takes a few seconds. The thief breaks the window, grabs your bag or purse, and is gone before you know it. As the countdown continues, families across the Panhandle use this weekend to celebrate their last few days before school starts.
Richards will be remembered on Monday. Their services will be held at the University of Texas Special Events Center. She will lie in-state at the Capitol this Saturday and Sunday. He's stopping at every single county courthouse in Texas for his whistle stop tour. It's been about 10 months since a science group of Plano said they are going to demolish Western Plaza, and the city of Amarillo doesn't care that it hasn't been done yet, just that it gets done.
Basically anything that they could pull out from my middle console.
Lynette Morales knows from experience to heed these kinds of police theft warnings as soon as they make them.
We headed to church and my kids came running upstairs and telling me that my car was a mess. And I don't ever keep it a mess, so I ran down and it was just a mess, trash everywhere.
A smash and grab only takes a few seconds. The thief breaks the window, grabs your bag or purse, and is gone before you know it.
It can happen at all hours, all over town. There's no place that's, that's any better or any worse.
They've made their way into high school weight rooms.
It's not just this community, it's most communities.
And in more places than you may think.
The 3% use rate to 11%, that's just the ones that we know about. There's certainly going to be more that we don't know about.
It's the need to get bigger, faster, stronger, quicker, and their availability that brought them into the Panhandle. It's also the reason they're probably not going away.
You can simply Google any one of these compounds or a pharmacy, and without ever seeing a physician, you can get these things over the internet.
He ran about 50 miles in less than 15 hours, all for his daughter.
It was the worst 4 days of our lives, without a doubt.
Melissa Paxton, Greg's daughter, went into a diabetic coma just 2 days after her 16th birthday last December. And it's because of that near-death experience he's going to keep running and running and running.
The motivation, of course, is ending juvenile diabetes and making my daughter better and other kids better. And my wife's a type 2 diabetic, and we know so many people who are afflicted with this, and we want to see it go away.
They'll be the first to tell you, it's been a bit frustrating.
It's kind of like being the only business in a ghost town.
Getting the developers to get construction moving so they can get out of this eyesore and into their new building.
It hasn't been quite as fast as we would have liked, but sometimes developers have different plans and different ways of handling things. And right now, it's moving very quickly from this time.
Graham Central Station's manager said until about 3 weeks ago, things were pretty much at a standstill. But now, plans will be finalized by the end of this week and moving by the end of this year. No doubt about it, there's plenty of pride in this little Texas town.
You just wake up and you're happy because you know what the day has in store for you, so you're really excited.
On the streets, how would you describe your Elk pride?
About as high as you can get it.
And especially on the football field.
Give me the taste of what pride is like here in Stratford. Like if you could just sum it up for me.
Big old 12-ounce medium rare steak, baked potato on the side, large Coke. I mean, it's great.
It's more than just a music festival.
Back in 1927,
it's a tribute to one of the nation's most patriotic folk singers.
We never dreamed that we had a genius in our family, so to speak.
Every year, this one-time home of Woody Guthrie, Pampa, invites his family and friends to pay tribute and learn about this folk legend that wrote one of America's favorite songs.
We are singing his songs, telling the story of his life, and learning from one another.
It's a problem, it's going to get worse.
It's not something these folks want to mess around with.
They don't have to pay for water, they don't have to consider impacts to other people. They can do whatever they darn well please.
C.E. Williams is the general manager for the Panhandle Groundwater District, and he says this isn't a new problem, and they've been aware of it for some time now. But since they drew the boundaries out in 1950, a lot has changed, and development isn't slowing down.
There's more people competing for the water
yeah, it's a bigger problem now than it was, and it'll become a bigger problem in the future.
Most of this unregulated area is shown here in white and lies on the east side of Washington, south of Amarillo in Randall County. So we went to the Randall County Judge, Ernie Howdeshell, to see if there is anything they could do.
The Commissioners Courts are very restricted on what we can do, and water is not one of our jurisdictions.
We expect it to be pretty decent this year.
Carson County cotton grower Ray Norton has been planting cotton around the White Deer area for 9 years now, and he says the hot spells of 2006 that may have hurt others are doing wonders for his crop.
I think quality this year, I think we'll have some of the best quality cotton we've had.
Unlike other commodities, determining the worth of a cotton crop is a little more than just yields. It comes down to quality, its staple length, which is the average strand's length, uniformity, and color. And as long as the weather holds up, like Norton said, this year looks pretty good.
Like if it comes in for 3 or 4 days and rains and gets wet, that's not going to be that much of an issue.
But if it rains for, let's say, a solid 2 weeks, or
oh yeah, it just stays wet, real humid every morning, not really drying out, and just constantly stays wet, then you start seeing the effects.
To you and me, it may just look like a stack of pallets or maybe junk, but to these WT students, it's more like a pile of pride.
It's grueling, but it's worth it.
The biggest event, I guess, that we have for homecoming week.
It took the Residence Hall Association 1 whole week just to build this 25-foot torch, and another 2 just to collect enough fuel for the fire. But aside from all the manual labor comes something they say is more important.
Every night, we just draw a pretty big crowd. Everybody comes out to hang out, and it's a fun week. It's long, but it's a really fun week.
They have a way to hear your concern.
Utilities, this is home.
But to many, it's just an empty threat.
Right now, we're just taking complaints. We can't do a whole lot.
What we found is that's not really working very well, and so we're looking at another method of probably sending something in the mail.
The Water Waster Complaint Hotline is in place and taking calls, but with little authority and consequences, it's obvious something else needs to be done.
Well, I think we're going to have to reassess what we're doing here and see if there's a better way to do
it. Trust me, it's not just music. For them, it's a way of life.
We have put a lot into our show.
We march constantly. We are always talking about band.
The Panhandle Panthers take pride in their marching band, practicing almost 5 days a week for more than 25 hours. But that pride doesn't stop with those on the field competing. It stretches all the way up to the stands and down Highway 60.
The kids work hard and they're good, and when you see them, you'll understand the pride behind the town.
For the second year in a row, the Tri-State Fair might be breaking records.
We're really pleased that we're going to have, if the evening holds up at least, we're going to have 2 consecutive record fairs.
Tri-State Fair Marketing Director Holly Shelton says to have 2 years in a row with numbers like this is unheard of.
Something has to be done for the surplus horses.
They all want what's best for the horses.
A vote no is a vote yes for the horses.
It's just how they think of it that differs.
To me, it's just a way of getting rid of them.
I don't think I could eat a horse.
Orrin Barnes trains horses outside of Canyon, and he doesn't think slaughtering for human consumption is right. But what he does think slaughtering does is give horse owners another method of euthanization if they can no longer take care of it.
What are you going to do with the surplus of horses? There's got to be some place to go with them. Right now, hay is so high that there's a lot of people can't afford to feed these horses, so they begin to neglect them.
It's more than just